when you give up your manhood, I've never seen somebody recover from it. That was all the people that went to the puffy parties. That was all the people that did all those things thinking that there was never going to be a consequence for what they were doing.
People are worried about Justin Bieber. The 30-year-old sorry singer was spotted looking tense and hollow-eyed in New York City on Wednesday.
Oh, honey, buckle up, because Terrence Howard just blew the lid off Hollywood's dirtiest secrets. And baby, it's nasty. In a bombshell interview shaking the whole industry, Terrence dropped tea about what really happened between Justin Bieber and Diddy. And trust me, it's uglier than we ever imagined. Word is, Diddy didn't just lure Justin with fame and parties. He allegedly used his own daughters to trap him. Yes, you heard that right. And now, Justin's finally crying out, and what he's revealing will leave you absolutely shook. At this point, Terrence is basically that one uncle who doesn't play.
You know, he wants to hang out with you next week, and I was like, for what? He's like, I think he's trying to fuck. That's what my assistant said. And I was like, oh, okay. Now I get it.
No Hollywood spin, just raw truth. On the PBD podcast, he dropped bomb after bomb, ripping the mask off the industry. The worst? A horrifying man card ritual, where young men are forced to give up everything just to climb the fame ladder. Terrence said it's so damaging, many end up addicted, broken, and chasing highs just to escape the trauma. When pressed if he really meant that, Terrence didn't even blink. He confirmed it. Yeah, Hollywood's dirtiest rumor, real.
It's a short life in
Why do you think that is? What the creative side is?
Well, because losing out money, you got to take drugs. You're going through so much shit to try and deal with life. You are literally, it's an unhealthy space. And so eventually you're going to go too far, you know? Who knows what happened to Philip? Who knows what he had to do in order to get to where he was at? There's a lot of things that people do that end up sitting and they can't get over it. And they got to keep getting high, hoping to get it out of their head, you know?
Behind those velvet ropes, freak-off parties, sick power plays, and young men manipulated into handing over their souls for fame. Just hearing it makes you want to scrub your skin raw. But oh honey, it gets even darker. Because then Terrence dropped another bomb, and this one had Diddy's name all over it. Apparently, Diddy wasn't just some bystander, he was in the thick of it. Terrence said Diddy personally reached out to him, pretending he wanted acting lessons. But when Terrence showed up, no lessons, no scripts, just Diddy hanging around, acting weird. And when it happened again, same vibe, no music, no work, just Diddy.
Lose your man card. That's the only thing I can think of. You lose your damn man card.
What is that? What do you mean by that?
You give up your ability, your right to being a man. A man don't take it, a man gives it. So when you give up that man card, you don't get that back.
Are you saying what I think you're saying?
No, I'm saying what I'm saying. You don't get that back. You come into this world as a man one time. You give up that right for anything, for fear of being hurt, fear of somebody doing something, for wanting to gain something. When you give up that man card right, you lose some spiritual energy that has always been pushing through. Like if a woman gives up her womanly right of being a mother and taking care of her family and do all those things, when you give up those things, but when you give up your manhood, I've never seen somebody recover from it. That was all the people that went to the puffy parties. That was all the people that did all those things thinking that there was never going to be a consequence for what they were doing. Got punked out and pimped out by some greater desire. You shouldn't have a greater desire than being a man. So I believe that's a big problem with a lot of the actors out there because they get fluid. And next thing you know, once you go fluid, it's gone. You don't have any foundation to pull yourself back from. So maintain your man card, no matter what.
Staring. By the third time, Terrence's assistant practically begged him to see what was really going on. Diddy didn't want lessons. He wanted something else, something that involved cheeks being parted and backs being broken. Terrence said he was disgusted, recoiling at even the thought of it. And if you think that's bad, it only gets worse. Because during this same interview, Terrence brought up Justin Bieber's name, and chilly. It was heartbreaking. Terrence agreed that Justin was one of the young stars who had fallen victim to this sinister man card culture, and the scars it left were deep. The damage wasn't just physical, it shattered their spirits too. Justin's entire world flipped upside down after he fell into Diddy's circle. This poor kid, just a teenager, was thrown headfirst into a world he never should have been part of. all the glitz and glam, it came with a horrifying price tag. And behind Justin's smiling photos and catchy hits, there was a broken boy hiding a world of pain. Justin has admitted, through tears, that he was exposed to way too much, way too young. In a heartbreaking interview, he broke down over wanting to protect Billie Eilish from the same predators who once circled him. He blamed the toxic culture on older artists grooming the young, and sadly, he lived it firsthand. Back in 2008, Scooter Braun found little Justin singing on YouTube.
Did you ever have the opportunity where you got invited and you said no to it?
Hell yeah.
What was the
Hell
consequences
yeah.
when you said no?
Puffy invited me for weeks, asking me to come and teach him how to, wanted me to be his acting coach for a while. Go there and he's sitting around just looking. I'm like, okay, what's the material you want to work on? He's just looking at me. Then next thing you know, okay, hey, will you help me? I want to hear your music. So I come over there and I play the music. And he's sitting there, just looking at me, like waiting. Okay. So then my assistant was like, he wants to hang out with you next week. And I was like, for what? He's like, I think he's trying to. That's what my assistant said. And I was like, oh, okay.
And with a few calls, 14-year-old Justin was flown alone to LA alone, vulnerable, unprotected. By the time Usher mentored him and Justin exploded into stardom by 2010, the damage was already done. Behind the fame, a lonely kid, surrounded by powerful men, not all with good intentions. Then came Diddy, who swooped in fast and hard, seeing dollar signs all over Justin's innocence. Publicly, it was a mentorship. Privately, it's chilling now to see that viral clip where Diddy brags about spending 48 hours alone with him and refuses to say what they did. And trust, it wasn't just pizza and PlayStations. Diddy promised Justin a Lambo and a house just to keep him around. Who does that? You don't throw houses at teenage boys unless you're trying to own them. And it just keeps getting creepier because let's talk about Usher. Remember, Usher lived with Diddy when he was a teenager, and even he later said it was one of the worst experiences of his life.
You see some guys struggling with that. You see Bieber struggling with that. You see some of these guys struggling with that.
They can't get it out of their head. They can't get it out of their head. The things that they did, no matter how they did it, whether they were drunk or high or whatever, you gave up your man card. You need therapy. And that's the thing that hurts them the most. And so they end up every way to try and get rid of any principles there are.
He practically swore he'd never let his own son go through what he did. Yet somehow, Usher still turned around and introduced Justin to Diddy, like passing a ticking time bomb to the next kid. And trust me, that friendship between Diddy and Justin, it was way too intense, way too fast. Diddy wasn't just casually hanging with Justin, he was obsessed. At one point, he even confronted Justin about why he wasn't partying with him anymore, and you could see the panic on Justin's face. This wasn't playful. Justin looked trapped, desperate to escape. And if grown men get nervous around Diddy's "come party with me" routine, imagine how a teenage boy felt. It's painfully clear in old videos. Diddy wouldn't let it go, grilling Justin, pushing him. Meanwhile, Justin looked like he wanted to vanish. And when people questioned Diddy's weird obsession, all he could say was, "Justin's a great kid." Sorry, but great kid doesn't explain promises of Lambos, houses, and secret 48-hour hangouts. Looking back now, it's beyond creepy. Everywhere you look, Diddy was hiding what he and Justin were doing together. In a 2011 interview, Diddy even joked that Justin knew better than to say what they did.
Being that young and being in the industry and not knowing where to turn, and everyone, telling me they love me and, just turn their back on you in a second. So if she ever needs me, I'm gonna be here for her. But yeah, just protecting those moments because people take for granted encounters, and I just want to protect her, I don't want her to go through anything I went through. I don't wish that upon anybody. Yeah, if she ever needs me, I'm just a call away.
Excuse me? That's not funny. That's terrifying. And it gets worse. Diddy bragged that Justin had full access to his house anytime. Like that's normal for a grown man and a teenage boy. Yikes. At the time, people laughed it off. Oh, Puffy being Puffy, they said. But now, after everything that's come out about Diddy, people are rewatching those old clips, and they're horrified. They're asking the real question. What really happened behind those closed doors? And just when you think it can't get nastier, the whispers get louder. that Diddy allegedly used his own daughters to keep Justin Bieber around. Yes, his daughters. And honestly, after seeing Diddy's messy, lawsuit-riddled downfall, it's sadly not that hard to believe anymore. Chance, Delilah, and Jesse grew up surrounded by chaos. Reports say they witnessed horrifying things happen to their mom, Kim Porter, and needed therapy for years after her death. And let's not forget, Diddy's own sons, Justin and Christian, were dragged into lawsuits tied to Hollywood's darkest scenes. Christian's even facing a whole case over an alleged SA during a so-called family trip Diddy attended. If Diddy didn't protect his sons, if he didn't protect his daughters, are we really surprised he might have used everyone around him to trap young stars like Justin? The streets are buzzing. People are whispering that maybe, just maybe, Diddy sweetened the deal by using his daughters to keep Justin close. It sounds insane, but after everything that's spilled this year, nothing sounds too crazy anymore. And as for Justin, he's been fighting to move on, building a peaceful life with Haley. But with Diddy's empire collapsing, Justin's dark past keeps resurfacing. Sources say he's struggling, especially now that Diddy's crimes are making headlines. Word is, Justin's gearing up to testify in court. He's fought so hard to heal, but will he survive facing the truth? Can he finally close this horrific chapter? Or will speaking out cost him everything?